This is Verified, a show that debunks misinformation from across Africa and beyond. My name is Linda Ngari.
And I am Calvin Rock.
We have in previous episodes found that key political leaders also have a tendency to perpetrate and spread fake news, and this could be deliberately or by means of genuine oversight or by citing outdated sources of information.
For example, in previous episodes, we looked into misleading figures quoted by the Deputy President during his speech at the Chatham House. The Deputy President, among other things, claimed that 15 million Kenyans are blacklisted with the Credit Reference Bureau.
But this is misleading since we found that 15 million is not the number of individuals blacklisted, but the number of accounts blacklisted with the CRB.
That's right, Linda. It's also worth noting that one Kenyan or one individual can have multiple blacklisted accounts, say loan accounts with the banks, borrowing from banks, SACCOs, microfinance institutions, and all that at the same time.
So I'd qualify this as a case of misinformation because it's the same figure, 15 million, except distinguishing between individuals and accounts blacklisted with the CRB. This is a good chance, Calvin, to remind our listeners that former US President Donald Trump was found to have shared at least 30,000 false and misleading claims over his tenure.
Well, in the same vein, President Uhuru Kenyatta, during his speech at the Madaraka Day on 1st June 2022, he presented a speech that contained elements of misinformation, as Pigafirimbi has now looked into.
So first, he raised an alarm on the rise in single-parent households in the country, saying that this spectacle is a threat to the country's traditional values.
Equally important to highlight is the threat also to our traditional values and the family as the basic unit of our society. The evolving face of the Kenyan family is characterized in the 2019 national census, where families headed by single parents rose from 25.1% in 2009 to 38.2%. If unchecked, this trend shall destroy the fundamental character of Kenya and reap untold harm onto our most vulnerable and precious members, our children.
Well, we found that both datasets quoted in the president's speech are gender-specific and solely feature under the women-led households category, hence excluding male single parents and assuming that all female-led households have a single parent.
The 25.1% stated in the KNBS Analytical Report on Household and Family Dynamics is drawn from the 2009 population census. The report represents data cited as adult female heads of households.
That's true. Similarly, the 38.2% President Kenyatta pointed out is a representation of female-headed households in the KNBS Analytical Report on Households and Family Dynamics, based on the 2019 national census.
The 2009 and 2019 census reports do not contain a general figure for households led by single parents. The data presented by Uhuru Kenyatta is therefore misleading.
That's true. Uhuru also stated that his tenure had seen the number of broadcast television and radio stations grow significantly.
It is in the tenure of this administration that we successfully transitioned from analog to digital television and radio, resulting in the country being home to 130 TV stations, up from 14 in 2013. 204 radio stations, up from 130 in 2013.
Uhuru reported that there are 130 TV stations and 204 radio stations. Data from the KNBS Economic Survey 2022, however, show that there are 142 TV stations, rendering Uhuru's data inaccurate. His count on the number of radio stations was consistent with the data provided by KNBS. Also, his data on the number of radio and TV stations as at 2013 was correct. So Linda, he got that right, but not the GDP.
So here's what President Kenyatta said about the GDP growth in Kenya.
From a GDP of 4.5 trillion in 2013 to close to 13 trillion today.
Whereas Uhuru said the GDP in 2013 was 4.5 trillion, data from KNBS shows that the national GDP in 2013 was actually 4.7 trillion. Hence, his claim was incorrect.
Looking back since 2013, when the current government took reign of power, Kenya has achieved monumental milestones, especially at the macroeconomic level. For instance, the economy has grown by 155% from the value of Kenya shilling 5.3 trillion in 2013 to Kenya shilling 13.5 trillion in 2022.
So, these are some of the statements by Uhuru Kenyatta on his last Madaraka celebration as president. Linda, to finish up, let's expound on the holiday. Madaraka Day celebrates Kenya's attainment of self-rule. This was Kenya's 59th celebration of self-rule.
And the 59th celebration also marks Uhuru Kenyatta's final celebrations of Madaraka Day with him being president, right?
Yeah, that's right, Linda.
Okay, so you can find these fact checks that we've explored on this episode and more on our website, pigafirimbi.africauncensored.online.
Or simply search Piga Firimbi on Google. You can also find us on our socials at Piga Firimbi on Twitter.
Until next time, I have been your host, Linda.
And I am Calvin Rock.